Bungie finally went ahead and did it. They gave us the best weapon in the game, and guess what? You can craft it. The Forbearance hits harder than a truck full of bricks running into a wall, and you absolutely need this one. Whether you can get it from running the raid naturally or you craft it, this is going to be the one for you guys. It's definitely the one. This weapon drops from the Caretaker and Rulk encounters in the raid and can drop as a resonance weapon, and with the guaranteed resonance weapon once a week per account, you should be able to get this one unlocked to be crafted in no time. Let's take a deeper look at the Forbearance grenade launcher from the Vow of the Disciple raid and see why everyone, and I mean everyone, needs one. Whether you're a kindergarten or a seasoned vet, this is going to be the one for you. I'm JT Goonie, and if you're new here and you enjoy this Destiny weapon review, consider getting subscribed because I make videos just like this all the time, so stick around and join the community. We'd love to have you. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the stats on this one because they're pretty solid, and honestly, this thing can get pretty nutty with a few rolls that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and it's going to make it even better. It's a 72 RPM waveframe grenade launcher sitting at a base stats of 55 blast radius. We're going to sit at 77 base velocity, 34 stability, which doesn't really matter on this one because it's a grenade launcher. We got 73 handling, which is on the higher side of grenade launchers, and it makes this thing snap back super fast. And we got a 74 reload speed, which is pretty dang good. You can get damn close to maxing out the stats on this grenade launcher, and with a good stats for all roll, again, which we'll talk about here in a few seconds, it's going to be absolutely nutty because Salvager Salvo is the only other grenade launcher that I can think of that has stats like this. There are a couple of options. You've got the Splicer one, Ignition Code, which is pretty good. I really like that one because it can roll with blinding nades, but with wave frames, blinding nades is basically obsolete. This one is super crazy, and we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the rolls that we can get on it here in a few seconds. So I won't comment on the PvP rolls you would want on this one because I haven't even taken Forbearance into the Crucible yet, and if I'm being 100% transparent with you guys, I probably won't. I cannot hang with grenade launchers or special weapons in general in PvP, so I'm gonna be that double primary king for you guys, and I'm gonna leave it to all the PvP slayers out there to take this grenade launcher into PvP. I've seen it a few times, but this weapon really is the main character of PvE content, and that's where I'm focusing it because it is just that good in PvE content that this is really the only time you're ever going to use this thing. Waveframes might be good in PvP because of the fact that it is a waveframe, but I'm going to stick to PvE. If you guys do know what roles you should look for in PvP, I'll pin it down in the comments below, so make sure you guys comment, let me know what you guys think. And we'll get those comments in. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the roles because it's definitely where this weapon shines, and there's a few roles in specifics that I want to talk about that you guys are definitely going to want to shoot for when you're able to craft this thing. All right, so the ideal barrel and mag perks that you're going to want on this wave frame are going to be for a max velocity roll. Hard launch and high velocity rounds are going to be super dope because you'll be able to get grenades to your targets quicker. Hard launch will give you that plus 13 to velocity and will decrease the blast radius and stability, but the main perk that you're going to want on this one will make up for all of this to where it's basically negligible. In the perk 1 slot, we do have a few options, starting with Genesis. Breaking a combatant shield will refill the weapon from reserves, as well as giving you back the grenade when you break a shield matching the weapon's damage type. And with Scorn and Taken being the focus of the season, there are going to be arc shields absolutely everywhere. So if you play it right, you should never have to run out of ammo, which puts this perk at the top of the list. I personally don't ever use this perk, but I will be crafting one 100% with a Genesis roll for that harder content like GMs and Master Raids to always keep a grenade up. Unrelenting is another solid option. Rapidly defeating targets triggers health regen, which goes super crazy when you pair it with Soul Drinker Origin trait. So on this GL, you're always going to be hitting multiple targets no matter what with that wave. You are proccing Unrelenting and Soul Drinker, and it's going to give you hella health back on just hitting targets. And with Soul Drinker capping out at around 50% health given, depending on how many targets you hit, you'll basically always be at full health with Unrelenting picking up the slack. Another solid option is going to be Ambitious Assassin because having 2 grenades is never a bad option, and it's going to be super nutty for that high level ad clearing. I personally use my Ambitious Assassin role in the raid, because constantly hitting ads, constantly doing damage, and then you're always getting 2 grenades in the mag, and you only have to hit one or kill one target to get that to proc. But the number 1 perk that we're going to look at in slot 1 is going to be Stats for All, because when hitting 3 separate targets, you get a bump to stability, handling, and weapon range. But in this case, it's going to be a bump to velocity, maxing it out, and reload speed, which again, with Stats for All, is almost maxed out on the reload speed, which is super crazy. And I personally will be taking this Stats for All chain reaction roll, or Stats for All and Unrelenting, or Stats for All and One for All into basically any content that I'm going to be playing. There's only going to be a few options in perk 2, making this GL an absolute beast, and these are the 2 that I would definitely go for. Starting with One for All, giving you a boost to damage for a moderate duration, and if you want to get a little fancy, like I said, run Stats for All and One for All. It can be absolutely nuts, because you basically buff everything at the same time, and with near max stats and 35% buff to the damage, you're going to want this one. If you'd want to synergize this one with an ARC subclass, I'm looking at you Thundercrash Titans out there. Golden Tricorn can be a slapper, giving your grenade and melees greatly increased damage when you get a kill with this weapon, and the buff is active, as well as buffing the weapon's damage too. Definitely going to be a great option for Titans and ARC Warlocks if that's your thing. But listen, the number 1 perk in this slot is going to be Chain Reaction. I absolutely fell in love with the Salvager Salvo because of the Ambitious Assassin chain reaction roll, and now this comes along and basically makes your other GLs look absolutely stupid. Any of the perk 1 slots that I mentioned earlier are going to go super well with chain reaction. Unrelenting and Stats for All can be active for dumb amounts of time, because the explosions of chain reaction will proc both of these perks. So if you want to go the max damage route, One for All and Chain Reaction is the way to go. Want to focus on the stats, keeping your gun up at all times, run Stats for All and Chain Reaction. Keep it reloaded all the time. I chose to go for Ambitious Assassin because you only need to get 1 kill to load 2 rounds into the mag. It's basically a 2-round energy waveframe GL, and the explosions from Chain Reaction reaches pretty damn far. I've been using it in the raid and a ton, and I honestly think it's worth the grind to get. If you can get the roll to drop from RNG, focus on crafting this one for your first GMs, you won't regret it. Whoever over at Bungie designed these raid weapons definitely needs a raise. I have yet to find a Valve the Disciple raid weapon that I don't like. What rolls are you guys using? Do you like waveframes, or are you guys skipping this one? Let me know down in the comments, and definitely want to get subscribed. I've got some banger videos you won't want to miss. This has been another JT Goonie video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.